Revolution won't be televised.
What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf. Today's show is going to be packed and a whole lot of stories coming at you in a small amount of time. So we'll be right back right after this.
Revolution won't be televised.
Today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. Make sure to use the special savings code Marfoogle to get a huge discount on the best virtual private network out there, NordVPN. Go to marfooglnews.com/VPN. All right, what is going on, guys? Before we get started, I just want to let you know this is a live show. Anything can happen. So with that in mind, make sure you know nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that also said, I want to let you know, if you're new, that we actually back up almost everything we say here with a bibliography on our website. You can actually go and look at our sources and see exactly where we get our information from. In fact, if you go there, it is very easy to navigate. Of course, it is set up by thumbnail. So if you go this one, which shows U.S. Army ad versus Russian Army ad, which is insane, by the way. We'll be showing you that here a little bit later. But again, you'll see that it will have all of the links for today. So you'll actually be able to go to absolutely everything that we have here, whether it be a picture, a document, an article. It will all be available to you. Today's show is called Shaking in Their Boots. Basically talking about how we have gone soft big time. I'll show you why again later, but this is again right here. All of the links from today, you can follow along on a second device or grab a tablet or a computer. And then if you want to support us on the right side, all of our affiliates slash sponsors are over there. Amazon.com link is this box. If you want to go do your shopping, again, it doesn't cost you anything extra, and it will end up helping us with the commission instead of some big corporation. So let's bring in Dex, my co-host slash internet brother. What's going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
I'm glad I did a sound check. It was a bit loud. But hey, so obviously there's a lot of stuff today that we're going to go over. Dex, before we get started, I wanted to talk about this this chip situation. So me and you have talked about this a long time as far as Taiwan and everything that's going on. But this is, again, it says, wait for chip deliveries, increased in sign shortage persists. Do you want to talk about this one real quick?
Yeah, certainly. So the chip, we keep talking about the fact that there's these chip shortages, and it is not getting better. It's actually getting worse. So in this particular case, the measurements they're looking at are showing that they're actually backing up an entire week more than what they were already. So now we're going to get even further in the hole as far as obviously the demand is high, and the demand will keep growing. Things like new cars that require 150 plus chips in them. The entire auto market is sort of, lots are empty because there's not enough chips to go around to get these cars produced, right? But it's not just that. These things go into power plants. They go into computers. They go into all sorts of things. Even if you want to go buy the latest and greatest iPad that came out, there's delays on getting those things because there's just not enough chips going around.
We're actually going to see the full results of this as time goes on. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Where you're really going to notice it is, your Best Buys and electronic stores and things like this are slowly going to get less and less of what they're trying to get because there's just not the availability to actually manufacture it. They've got all these backlogs.
Absolutely. Imagine if they cannot solve this problem between, say, now and October 1st. If they haven't caught up and over delivered on the demand by October 1st, can you imagine what Q4 is going to look like? That is the biggest electronic sale period of the entire year going into the holiday.
Yes, going into Black Friday, again, with all of the stuff that actually makes our economy here in the United States. If you're elsewhere, I don't know if you have a similar day like Black Friday, but here in the United States, Black Friday actually boosts the entire economy in one day. or in that, really it's that weekend because it's Cyber Monday and Black Friday. But if they don't have this caught up, and especially it could actually, we could be feeling that by the time Black Friday comes along. Either way, it really appears that our economy is just going to the crapper, and most people know that. That's why we suggest, and we are, preaching every day, to get yourself prepared for any kind of shortage of any kind, whether, preparing for an event like an earthquake or a tornado or a hurricane, or preparing for an all-out apocalypse. It doesn't matter. Really, you do the same thing for both. So I would highly recommend that everybody kind of look at this as like, hey, we're just preparing for the next earthquake, but we're doing it a little bit more than usual because especially with everything that's happening over in the Middle East, with Russia, with China, new words. I mean, there's so much going on right now. This is like what we had going on decades ago, only now there's more at stake. As far as the cold conflict with Russia, I think it's getting way hotter than that. I think we're seeing cyber events left and right, and they're just not reporting it like they should be. I shouldn't say they should be, because maybe they're doing this for our safety, or maybe they're doing it for the best so people don't panic. But some of the things that have happened, like shutting down half of our gas infrastructure for the East Coast, that's pretty incredible. And it's only going to get worse from here. That's not the record-breaking hack that, tops all other hacks. That's on the low end of what what experts actually think they could do. So keep that in mind. It says semiconductor lead times, the gap between ordering a chip and taking delivery increased to 17 weeks in April, indicating users are getting more desperate to secure supply, according to research by Susquehanna Financial Group. Again, 17 weeks, going up and heading towards 18 weeks between when they order these chips and when they get them. 4 weeks in a month, you're talking about 3-4 months out before you get those chips to manufacture something. Usually, by the way, I believe, so it does say that it's basically about 4 to 6 weeks behind where they should be, a month and a half, because it was at 12 weeks in 2020. So I don't know. And then we have Peter Thiel is backing a rival to Elon Musk's brain implant company. Like we need more than one. It says Plantier co-founder and venture capitalist Peter Thiel is invested in a company that's putting computer chips into people's heads in a bid to improve them in some way. The early Facebook investor who co-founded PayPal with Elon Musk in 1998 has backed the firm called BlackRock Neurotech in a $10 million financing round, taking an undisclosed amount of equity in the process. It says the funding round was confirmed to CNBC by BlackRock Neurotech, but Thiel declined to comment. So this is another huge elite billionaire that is getting involved in, of course, these brain implants. Like I said first, like we need another one. What I hope that people realize is that this is going to happen not only in our lifetimes, but in the next couple of years. They are going to put it out there and just subtly, one step by another step, basically get everybody okay with putting chips inside their body. I hope that people realize that this is like not a playing matter, and I personally... I will be figuring out a way to peacefully kind of speak my mind on this to my local government if it ever comes. I mean, it really should be to the national government. I don't understand why they're messing around with this. Now, some people are going to look at this as a positive, and of course, how Elon puts it is he says that we need to catch up with AI or be able to defend against AI. AI is advancing so fast that he says it would be a better thing if we were actually intertwined with computers. Dex, do you have an opinion on this as far as, putting chips inside of your body or putting electronics in your body?
Well, I'm not excited about it, but I definitely understand the argument. I mean, we barely use the capacity of our brain. We use like a very small percentage of the overall capacity. So we actually can do a lot more. We just don't know how to tap into it. And we've actually tapped into quite a bit of it with the technology age, in the sense that if you think of kids that have grown up, with an iPhone in their hand and playing video games, not that they're getting book smarter, but their brains are getting, in some ways, people will say it's bad, but in other ways people say it's good. They're getting more developed from being able to do different things that we never could have done before. And they're tapping into more of the brain power. The argument about AI is like, if we're going to have any chance to compete against a machine that becomes self-aware, we're going to have to be able to compute just as fast, and our brain can actually do that. We just don't leverage it. So, I'm not necessarily in favor of this, but I understand the argument, and I almost understand the evolution, because there will come a day when, you don't have to go read a book to get information. You'll be able to push a button and download something into your brain. Well, if you choose not to do that, that's your choice. But if the whole world is doing it, then you're going to not have the same amount of information that the rest of the world has, and you're going to be in a much lower place. Does that make sense? So I think it's sort of inevitable.
And this is where it is say you're applying to the same job 5 years from now, and the other applicant has a chip that lets him compute the 10 key instantly. So they are actually able to do business out in the field without a cash register, and that their math is going to be perfect because they have 10 key built in, or they have downloaded software that is appropriate for their job. Say you have Excel built into your head, so when you take money, it actually automatically enters and Bluetooths to the company. And they say, well, we would much rather have that than somebody who has to manually enter it. Think about that, where we would be Bluetooth or Wi-Fi hooked up. And people think this is sci-fi. This is not an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. This is real. This is something that is happening and very quick. They're in the final stages of testing, and they've done this with animals, and now they're moving into humans. And you may say it's scary now, but at the same time, you might even be anti. But what about when it comes to the point where you have to get it to even be normal? That's what here's the other thing. And they're saying, well, we need to do this to battle AI. Dex, I don't think we should have AI. They shouldn't be getting, if they know that AI is going to get to the self-aware point and it's scary, then stop messing with it. They use it because of the conveniences of it. But at a certain point, when AI, we've covered this almost every week.
But it won't happen. But that can't happen. It's nice fundamentally to say let's stop AI. It's sort of like saying let's stop nukes, right? But it doesn't happen because somebody out there is not going to agree, and they're going to move forward with it, right? So if somebody,
but that's stupid. That should be a Geneva Convention law. Don't do AI.
I understand, but it's not. That's still going to happen because you need to defend against it because somebody else is going to do it. Okay,
so first off, if everything is going to be, our infrastructure is online, our infrastructure is all getting, elevatedly connected by internet and by these systems. Then you bring into AI, and that there's a weakness. Almost anything can be hacked. I think anything can be hacked. It's just a matter of how they know how to get in. When you have an AI computer or a quantum computer that ends up being smarter than any human being on the planet, self-aware, and can basically outsmart any human being, and then they're able to hack into these other systems, you could literally get a different Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Terminator. And now you're talking about 3D printing is something that not only 3D printing, but CNC machines and these things, they could build a joke, but it's not. Think about how Terminator is. If they had AI hacked into a manufacturing company with robots that could build other robots, and now we have killer robots. That's a real thing. Not only that, DARPA and all of these different agencies around the world are making them, and China is making thousands and thousands of drones, most of them of which have AI and facial recognition. This is stupid. Why are people? Maybe that's part of the reason why they're changing all of these things. Maybe we're not even in charge. Who knows? Maybe we're not in charge anymore. Maybe 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 they're going to release the UFO documents, and really the UFOs, they tell us, oh, it's full disclosure, there's something out there, and really it's computers messing with us, and it's the computers telling us a story so we believe it, but really it's our PCs controlling the world. I don't know. The world has changed so drastically in the last 5-10 years that I don't even recognize it. I mean, when you guys were kids, do you see the same planet here? It's not, the weather. It's something else. What do you think? We've got Roach to go. Oh, Maria, even our faith. Twisted Luck Truth. What's going on? Common Mail. Gigi Love Jesus. Gem. Paula Hoskins. We've got Inverted Earth. Blowtorch Barbie. Missy Sue is in the house. Thank you. Rep Overlords. Let's see here. Nail Toe. Duckhawk is in here. JT Waters. All sorts of great people. Linda W. Fook. You. Tube, yes, good screen name there. Soul Person, Billy Woodford says, yo. Actually, he wrote it, yo. Casey Lynn 33, thank you for the support over on DLive. Thank you. Susie P says, AI, no thanks. Kelly2334, it's nice to see you again tonight, says, no thanks. Adam and Dex are the best. Love y'all, says Casey Lynn. A.R. Dean Joe says, keep up the good work, Marf and Dex. Thank you. Divine 1122, Scooby-Doo Do-Right. Truth Wins is in the house as well. Thank you. Michelle K, Durango Nubaru. JT Waters is on both platforms, it looks like. You Are Soul, Corey Creates. Thank you all for popping over to YouTube as well. Thank you guys, everybody that's here. All right, and then we've got Bitcoin plunges in value as China starts cryptocurrency crackdown days after Elon Musk warning. Dex, I'm not even going to try to touch this. Everybody knows my view on Bitcoin, and I'm not an expert. But Dex, you are much more qualified in this area.
Well, it's certainly in all the mainstream news. So unless you're living under a rock or don't care about crypto, then you would probably know that what's going on, in the sense that it is pretty much tanked hard. I think it's a lot of messaging that's going on that's causing the pressure to go down. I'm not going to speculate exactly what's going to happen and where it's going to go. I mean, I have my personal beliefs on it, but fundamentally what you're seeing is just market reaction to what's going on with China, which follows up right after what Elon said. If you remember about a week ago, Elon came out and said, hey, we're not going to take Bitcoin for Teslas anymore because we want to make sure that they're not wasting electricity. Well, guess what? If the price drops down to this, they're not going to be spending near as much electricity to run and mine crypto. So maybe he's getting what he wanted. But then, I think he also came back and said, hey, we're not selling, we're holding it. So, and a lot of other people are jumping in now, especially celebrities are all saying, oh, we're buying the dip. So it did, do a little bounce back.
This dip, just like a year and a half ago, we walked by a Bitcoin ATM at the mall, and it was at $3,500. And I remember when this guy told me about it when they were $33. A whole Bitcoin was $33. So when it was $3,500, and now it got up to, what was it, like $60,000 or $50,000? Now the dip is $27,000 for one Bitcoin. That's insanity. Do you think that that's the low?
Yeah, well, it's back. It's like 37 right now.
Oh,
so.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So his buddies probably bought
billions
of dollars worth of 27,000, and then you know what he could do? He could tomorrow, after his buddies buy it at 27,000, his buddies could all buy it, and then he could go, okay, well, they fixed the environmental issue. We're going to start using it again, and we're going to double down on it. And then all of a sudden it goes up to 100,000. It's crazy, but I guess that this is a different thing too, though. So Dex, why would China affect this as far as they have their own thing?
Yeah, China has always been for the longest time against crypto, and they continue to ban it. And they've come out again recently saying, hey, they're warning investors to stay away from it, and they're not going to accept it in any transactions, and they're pushing hard against it. So that kind of pushback, China's a huge market, right? When you think about the adoption of a cryptocurrency, part of it is even being able to give the ability for people to transact money in places where there are no banks, right? There are countries where people don't even have ATMs, but now with a cell phone, which is readily available, they can actually start transacting, right? And things like cryptos make that easy. So when you think about, a country as large as China, as a percentage of the population that could be participating in crypto, having them all be isolated and taken away is kind of a big deal. And it's what happened a long time ago, a few years back, when China pushed back against a lot of the ICOs that happened, all the crypto companies that were starting up. So they're just continuing to do that push. I think it's because they want to control and own exactly what they're doing with their own crypto in Weibo and their other apps.
Well, one thing is it is just so wild. It says here, the price fluctuate, and this is a quote, again, by the Bank of China. It says, the price fluctuations seriously violate people's asset safety and disrupt normal economic and financial order. The one thing I will say, though, is that this has just gone so insanely up and so insanely down. So, that's what freaks me out about it. There's some people that are just totally kosher with all of that. But, I mean, imagine if somebody, buys it at 60,000 and then the next day half their money is gone. I guess they're praying and hoping that it goes back up. But what if it never, what if it never did?
Yeah, in 2017, there were people that bought it at 18,000 and it went down to 3,500. But if they held on to it, they're still sitting pretty today at 37.
But it's like, right? you don't know when to sell, because then tomorrow it could go up to 500,000. It's like,
yeah, it's an extremely volatile, speculative area. So it's rife with risk, but with great risk comes great reward and great disappointment.
If it hits 3,000 or 4,000, we'll figure something out. The Foogle fam's going to go in on it. We're just going to get a Bitcoin, and then we're going to start a Foogle family club. It's going to be like a gym without gym equipment, and it's just going to be Foogle fam and a bunch of TVs, and we're going to kick it. Okay? We're all going to go in on a Bitcoin. All right. So we'll call it the Foogle fam jam. Yeah. Too long? Probably. If you guys want to support us, this is actually on a more serious note. I hope that you have checked out EMP Shield. If you have not, it is something that we've been recommending for longer than we've been an affiliate. I highly, highly recommend you look and do your research into why the government, DOD, DHS, is actually equipping equipment like this and even this equipment in different military buildings and in different government buildings and even on the Texas grid. Because this can actually protect against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. These are not, just a as seen on TV thing. This is a professional device made by hand in Kansas. These are professional grade to the point where they're military tested. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP, and they protect against solar flare protection up to 228,000 amps. So the natural kind, like a Carrington event. And they even protect you against lightning. There is the most popular model, which is their car version. That right now and everything else is $50 off per device if you go through our website, marfooglenews.com/EMP. And then us and INL are running a contest right now. If you did not know that, Stephen Benoon over there is also a part of this. Make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/contest and go over and subscribe to INL. Multiple ways to enter, including daily bonus entries. You must go to marfooglenews.com/contest. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/contest, and you very well could win your own, and you'll even get to pick which device you get. All right, and then Dex, the Taiwan unveils army restructure aimed at decentralizing military. Why do we keep hearing all of this stuff about decentralizing and everything else? It says Taiwan will reorganize its army command structure to emphasize joint operations between its services and give regional commanders more operational flexibility in the event of a conflict. It says the country's defense minister told lawmakers the reorganization will see various corps and defense commands of the Taiwanese army renamed as distinct combat theater commands. Chu Chang reported the self-governing island's parliament last week. The Ministry of National Defense confirmed that the Army's Penghu, Hudong, 6th, 8th, and 10th Army Corps will be renamed to the 1st to 5th Combat Theater Commands, responsible for the Penghu Islands west of Taiwan and the areas of eastern, northern, southern, and central Taiwan, respectively. It says Chu added that the leaders of each combat theater command will be responsible for coordinating the forces of each of Taiwan's armed services in each region. In effect, forming joint chiefs of staff to enhance interoperability and coordinate operations during conflict or peacetime operations such as disaster relief. It says although each of the current Army Corps are commanded by Army generals, Chu left open the possibility that new theater commands could be led by officers drawn from other services. This possibility was welcomed by experts speaking to Radio Free Asia's Chinese language coverage of the announcement. The director of Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research, Su Zhu-yun, suggested that the 2nd Theater Command in eastern Taiwan, facing the Pacific Ocean and Taiwan's outer-lying islands, could be led by Air Force or Navy commanders due to the principal domains of that area. So what are they saying here, Dex? Are they saying that they would possibly even bring in, they'd bring in people to help? Is that?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're organizing, they're restructuring and organizing the way the divisions roll up, how they command, and basically positioning themselves for conflict, right? And they didn't do this because they're cutting budget. They didn't do this because we're being more efficient. They're saying, hey, we have a real threat, and this real threat's knocking on the door, and we need to realign everything. And we're going to make sure that we're in a position to have the most possible, the greatest amount of potential success should we have to defend ourselves. So it sounds to me like they're really, they know the writing's on the wall, and they're trying to get ready.
And so they are actually changing everything up. Basically, they're in overdrive about, basically getting ready for a conflict. This is again, like he said, writing on the wall. We are going to see something between Taiwan and China, whether we get involved or not. That's my belief.
Right. And it also mimics, I guess in some way, it kind of mimics how we do it with our joint chiefs of staff, right? We have joint chiefs across the different divisions. We bring them together. There is no one single leader, right? I mean, in a sense, there isn't, right? Because the leaders are all together. So that's what they're trying to mimic.
And it sounds like they realize that their current setup is not good for actual conflict, which I don't think that they thought they were actually going to get into for a long time. And then we have the I country, Iran to the store, begins pumping oil bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. Anytime that this is mentioned, my ears are perked. And it says Iran to the store has started petroleum transmission through an oil pipeline that allows the Strait of Hormuz, the region's main energy line, to be bypassed. The country's national oil company said on Wednesday. The executive director of the national Iran to the store oil company has announced the start of an operation to supply crude oil from Gersh to Gjask, the company said in a statement. Dex, so if they're going to start supplying oil, doesn't that mean,
this makes it harder for, when we put in, sanctions against them, or we disallow their ships to move oil and things like that. What they did was they created a path around that, right? They needed another way to not get stuck when they want to do something bad or do their own thing, and the U.S. or someone else comes in and tries to put sanctions on them. So that's what this is. This is definitely, we heard about this. We talked about sanctions against Russia with SWIFT, right? From the European and even the U.S., I think, about a month ago. And then just yesterday, Russia came out and said, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to be just fine. We'll figure it out, and we don't need SWIFT. So your threat no longer bothers us. So that's what this is. This is, Iran to the store is getting ready and positioning themselves to be able to not have to worry about.
Okay, so do people see that they are setting up 100% to cut the U.S. out of everything? Every country, we have seen signs that they are trying to cut us directly out of it so they're not affected if they do take us out. How do people not see that they are setting up for a direct conflict with us? I don't know. People say it's fear-mongering to say that we might, or warmongering that we might go to war. it's pretty freaking clear right now that all of these other countries, and I hope that we show you this, that they are cutting their way out, even between China and Russia trading land so they can stop getting different exports from the United States. So I see right now that all of these countries are not only cutting off their internet structures, not only cutting their infrastructures, but also cutting off anything that we have power over them. Because we have sanctions. Everybody hears those words. Sanctions here. Anytime they do something bad, well, if you do that, we're going to do this. NK, of course, we cut them off from the whole world. They couldn't do any kind of cross-border stuff. So this sanction, that sanction. Now, they are going to try to undo anything that we have power over them and grab their neck, right? They're going to go, okay, well, I'm going to move away a couple more feet so you can't grab my neck. So, especially when you see, we're going to show you here in a minute the Russian military ad compared to ours. You're going to see like the difference between like what is going on right now. I think that we're going to see rhetoric until it's not. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear all of yours. Carolina Roots, God is real intelligence. Divine 1122, we can naturally be evolving our consciousness. Kelly 2334, thank you for the major support. Thank you for coming in with multiple Ninja Guineas. Thank you. Susie P, also competing. Thank you so much for you guys' support. We are truly independent. We do not have a multi-channel network, so thank you so much for being our backbone. And then over on YouTube, 2 old people on a couch. Thank you. I'll shout that out in a second. Situation Normal says, remember pick of T-Man. Dude, and The Simpsons did. Dude equals Thiel. That was at Plantier. Makes NS at look like kids. Oh, weird. Was Plantier that picture? That, if you guys know what he's talking about, that Simpsons picture of T-Man sitting with the Arabian gentleman, and then they were around the crystal ball. That picture ended up being real, and everybody was like, how did they predict this picture, right? I wonder if that, again, it was that at Plantier. Mr. Fisher says, 13F says, been enjoying your show for about a year. Keep up the great work. Thank you for the support. I really do appreciate that. Tristan Early, thank you so much for your support as well. Trinity Red Pill Hi-Ho Kermit the Frog here says, driving and listening, sending love to everyone. Hashtag Team Humanity. 2 old people on a couch says, could the deep state be AI? Who knows? Diamond Cojones. I love that. Diamond Cojones. Yeah, those are some pretty hard cojones. Plantier founder. I have the stock and a YT streamer did due diligence finding out the company has past ties to VP Harris and other cabinet members. Diamond, send it to us. Email us. Situation Normal. Peter Thiel, CEO at Plantier, Global Data Collection Surveillance Company, Plantier.com. Good connection there. Daniel Lazarus says, Foot Locker Week of Greatness. May 19th, Jordan Noah release. 20th, Cosmic Deception. 26th, Zion Marion. Marion means Star of the Sea. Check it out. Daniel Lazarus, I'll have to. So this is an actual like shoe thing that they're releasing symbolic things for. I'll have to check that out. Not putting chips inside of my body, says 2 old people on a couch. And that says, love you, Adam Dex. Cyber attacks, weather manipulation, and shortages all on the rise. That is right. Tipping Cows in Wisco, thank you for your support. Kim Schaefer says, fairly new viewer, and I really appreciate all your efforts in trying to get out accurate information and keeping us in the know. Well, thank you, Kim Schaefer, and welcome to the Foogle fam. I hope that you find really, really great people here. And just a reminder, because I haven't done this in a while, we need to bring people in. We need to bring the mods in. We're going to need a lot more help coming up here soon, because we're going to have a community spot again. Make sure you are pushing people up in the chat, even if you disagree or somebody, got, poked, somebody didn't get poked, whether they are supporting one country or the other. Make sure that all of it is, everybody is pushing each other up. Whatever might trigger you, try to basically mentally steer around that and say, okay, let's talk about something else. It's really that easy. By the way, somebody reported to me that we didn't know who it was, but somebody was doing emojis of a certain country they were supporting, and I don't know which mod or who it was. It doesn't really matter. Somebody got rid of the flag emojis, and I think that they were going basically on my vague rules, and they were trying to be helpful because they were, if you say those two countries, it is like a filter word. So they were probably trying to, go by my rules. So don't be mad at them. One thing I will say is the emojis are fine, and if you support somebody, we will let them go. I think that they were actually had the best intent when they did that. So we did not mean to get rid of that. So let's keep things rolling. Again, now we have mysterious mass found on North Carolina coast. What is this, Bob? What is this, Bob?
What is this, Bob?
What is this blob baffling experts? Say that 10 times fast. Blob baffling. A strange, semi-transparent blob of finger-like growths filled with white dots has baffled North Carolina wildlife experts after it was found washed up on the coast, prompting them to ask the public, do you know what this mysterious mass is? How seriously? It says Cape Lookout National Seashore shared a photo of the unidentified blob. Let's see if we can... Again, it looks like we might actually have it. So this is the blob. First thing that comes to mind is like Sideshow Bob's hair. I don't know. Or eggs of some sort. What if they're eggs for, some sort of unknown species? Dex, before
I'll give you. I've got two thoughts. One, it's probably completely benign, and it's just something from the ocean that we've never seen before, because there's so much we don't know about the ocean. But then we've got all these mysterious spacecrafts and UFOs that are actually going into the water, right? So if something was to come out of the ocean and present itself to us in a way that we don't know what it is, or maybe it's something that was put out there intentionally, sitting dormant to do something later. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if these things start washing up all over the place. But that's the very far end of the spectrum, if you want to really go down a rabbit hole. But obviously it probably looks like some sort of weird growing matter that probably comes somewhere from the ocean that we've never seen before.
What if these... Okay, that is a creepy thought, though. Every movie that has, aliens that a comet lands and then there's some sort of weird blob or growth, and then it's slowly... Like, these are alien eggs, and they're all going to start hatching, and these six-legged freaks will start running around. In fact, I think there was a movie called Eight-Legged Freaks. But we won't grab... We won't grab any of the Cox family there. Okay. What do you think it is? It says Cape Lookout National Seashore shared the photo Tuesday. It says it was found months ago, but despite their best efforts, experts could not find a definitive answer. It says it looks like a few pairs of gloves that something laid eggs in, one commenter said. Invasion of the body snatchers, another. Several others weighed in, saying that the gelatinous pile of tendrils looked like squid egg sacs. Similar looking objects, clusters of elongated segments filled with tiny eggs, have also been found on the beaches on the West Coast, according to the Oregon Coast Aquarium. A squid expert, see, that was like my guess, right? Dr. Louis Zeidberg. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Wait, what's the character from the character from Futurama? Zoidberg? Isn't that? I swear. And it's like a squid guy. It says a squid expert, Dr. Zoidberg, and his name is Dr. Zoidberg. I swear. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. It's Zoidberg.
Is that how you say this?
Well, this one I would say Zeedberg.
Okay,
but yes,
okay.
close enough.
I wonder. Okay, that's weird because also Futurama is by the same makers as Simpsons, is it not? I'm pretty sure it is. It's Matt Groening, and Matt Groening. Some people think he's from another planet or something because he keeps doing these weird predictions. Everybody talks about how The Simpsons has predicted a lot of stuff, but if you've seen some of the episodes of Futurama, those have had some weird things in them too. And it's Dr. Zoidberg, right? A squid expert. I'm just saying. In the show Futurama, it's a squid guy. I think he's like a octopus, crab claw guy. Anyways, explains that those particular sacks along the Pacific species known as the California market squid. However, there's also an Atlantic species which is slightly bigger, Zeedberg told the aquarium. Based on appearances, the Atlantic variant of the California market squid seems like a good explanation. But nobody knows.
Well, and if there are things like this washing up on the West Coast and they don't know, I don't know. I mean, if there's more than one, it might be worth worrying about. If it's just one, then somebody will figure it out or they'll catalog it as a new item. But
Okay, but since there's multiple things washing up, what else does that say? Of course, you're going to hear the accusation that it is because of the world weather and everything that's going on. It could be because of the nuclear waste or the trash that's going into the water that's affecting it. Or you could even say that this is pole shift, magnetic animals losing their kind of way. We don't know what this is. It could have a magnetic kind of navigation system, whatever. I don't know. But we have seen animals beaching themselves like never before. Just in the last 5 years, we've seen it go up and up and up. And there's just mass beachings. And some say it's because of the crap in the water. Some say that it is the world's, the poles shifting and their magnetic kind of navigation is all messed up. Whales and great whites and all these different animals are ending up in areas that they've never been in before. Look, I mean, do some research on this. It's actually quite a rabbit hole because once you go down it, you'll see that just in the last 3 years out of all of it, in fact, just in the last 2 years, we've had so many species outside their normal area that they have started to raise kind of alarm to it because so many animals are going off into these places they've never been. What would that tell you? The ocean is so broad, we don't know what the heck is in the ocean. They say that we have discovered less of the ocean than we have of the stars. So we know more about the stars above us, supposedly, than we do of the ocean, because the ocean, even with today's technology, we still can't go all the way to the bottom. Which, if you think about it, the only things that survived from certain extinction periods were in the water, or most of them were, or in the sky, birds. So we don't know. There could be. That's why I've always kind of kept a little spot in my belief for a Loch Ness monster type thing. Right? I don't think of it as a mysterious creature. I just think of it as a species that we just haven't found yet.
It's not a set of gloves with a bunch of eggs on it, though, right?
Who knows? Maybe their babies look like that. Maybe their babies look like two pairs of CV gloves thrown out, and have little baby whiteheads in it. Daniel Lazarus, watch Foot Locker Week of Greatness. Crazy. I will. I will check it out, or at least I'll try to. Stephen McMahon, some levity without old Yabba Adam. Why is the fire engine red? Well, if somebody was pulling on your hose all day, you'd be red too. Is that Ilea hidden as Stephen McMahon? Fisher247 says, I like turtles. That is probably I love that comment. I just love it. I like turtles. Just simple and to the point. And I believe you're telling the truth. I think that is your truth. I like turtles too, Fisher. I like turtles too. turtles. That was like beyond what I could even do. Seraphina, thank you. Sir Budrick, 77% of women surveyed hate the word moist. Shout out to Zippy Moons. I just like the name. Man, today is a good one. Yes, that would definitely be a good way to describe this thing. All right. And if, again... B urged Netanyahu to take steps today towards ceasefire with Hamas. So just a couple days ago, we reported that they were not even taking calls. They would not be joining calls. Other allies were saying that our allies in the United States, our allies, were saying that they need to join calls and urge both of these countries to come to a ceasefire. And they were not even joining those calls. We actually reported that. Multiple sources backed it up. Now, it says that President JB increased pressure on Wednesday to seek a ceasefire with Hamas and amid continued deadly clashes. The president told Prime Minister Benjamin that, quote, he expected a significant de-escalation today on the path to a ceasefire. White House Deputy Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre told reporters. It says the president spoke to Netanyahu before leaving for Connecticut, where he will deliver the commencement remarks at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Jean-Pierre said it was his fourth call with the leader. So is it the fourth call so far? Because in the first couple weeks, he didn't even have a single call. So most of those 4 calls must have been probably pretty recent, I'm assuming. It says Mr. B has come under pressure or increased pressure from Dem allies in Washington to press toward a ceasefire. It says earlier Wednesday, Netanyahu said in a press conference that his goal was to stop militants from Hamas and who have launched thousands of rockets into since last week. He said was currently engaged in, quote, forceful deterrence, but would not rule out other options. So now we have flipped the script and we are trying to say ceasefire. And then, of course, we have the other side go on strike amid airstrikes, rocket fire. Dex, do you want to explain this one?
Yeah, sure. So, the other person, by the way, I just looking this up, the other person that came out today was Putin. He came out and pushed hard for the same thing.
So towards
I think he was,
or towards,
yeah, towards
okay.
He's supporting the other side.
Okay, so it does say that the Palestinians went on strike Tuesday to protest policies denying the Pali. That's what we'll call them today. The rights afforded to moves. And it says the strike comes against the backdrop of continued violence in the region, with Hamas launching rocket fire at and launching airstrikes at Gaza in response. The Associated Press reported that in East Jerusalem and the West Bank were observing a general strike intended to protest the policies. So, to sum this up, really, there is a lot of aggression back and forth. Right now, the entire world is kind of backing this whole ceasefire thing. Where is this? Does this have the world's attention? I believe so. A lot of people think that this is a big distraction. I think that this has been going on for a very long time. I'm really wondering, what is on the back page news? This is on front page news. So a lot of the time we cover it, but we're also searching those back page news articles as well. Dex, have you noticed that there's anything else going on?
I think the one thing that we keep covering in web only content that we can't really talk about on here. This is probably one story. This story of and what's happening there, which is front and center, is a good distraction to keep people away from what may or may not be happening, and even locally here in the U.S. around some of those conversations and events in different states like Arizona, Michigan, and even Wisconsin.
So again, there are actual events happening here that nobody is covering because it is just not acceptable anymore. It's really quite sad that a lot of this can't be talked about on any of the public platforms. It's they say that, I guess, that censorship is not real. Who says that, right? I actually have seen somebody. In fact, I just found a new channel that's 560,000 subscribers, and this person used to be on the right side of things, and not saying right as in he's right, but right-leaning. Now he's completely the opposite. And it's like before he was totally brainwashed by one side, now he's brainwashed by the other. But he actually said that that conservatives are not censored, and I was thinking, I guess it's like me trying to pretend that I know what it's like to be. Well, let me be careful there. It's like me if I think that I know what it's like to be an African American. I don't. I don't. One thing though is I can't turn into an African American, correct? But if I was completely left or liberal, I could turn into a conservative. But one thing I guess that you don't realize unless you are African American is what kind of effects happen when you are. I think the same goes right now with being somebody who would be conservative. You don't see the censorship, you don't see what's going on unless you are one. Pretty safe to say, because they say, oh, well, I see them talking about it and I see them saying whatever they want. No, that's not true. There's a fine line, and then once you cross that fine line, you're just gone. And there's a lot of people that are just gone. And it's not where I grew up, that's for sure. So there's lots of great content here on the web-only portion of this. And then, of course, is May, and this is in mainstream right now. They're telling them, is May cut power to the Strip ahead of intensive night of tunnel strikes. So, meanwhile, while the entire world is calling for ceasefires, they're actually putting it out there publicly that they are talking about cutting power to another place, right? It says the power supply to Gaza has already been cut by more than half after 6 of 10 power lines were destroyed by strikes. So they're not even getting the plants. In some cases, they're actually knocking down the lines that connect multiple areas, which we've actually seen videos on Twitter of, where you'll see and hear the sirens, and then all of a sudden a very tactical poof, and then half of the lights go out. This is why I just hope that people realize, if you are in the U.S. or if you're in Australia or if you're in Europe or if you're in somewhere that doesn't go through these daily kind of things where you don't hear sirens, or if you do, it's for like a tsunami and it's a drill and it's a practice, or it's for a hurricane and it's again for practice, or worst case scenario, it's for evacuation. But it's not like this. Over there, every single day, they don't know. You know, it's like we worry about getting hit by a car while crossing the street. They worry about getting hit with a missile. So just remember that, and really don't take your life for granted, especially if you're in any of those above places. We have it so blessed, and even when you're on your worst day, there's somebody out there that has a far worse day than you. And it's actually reason to be happy and to be not so stressed about all this stuff. Every single day that we're here, someone else is dying of cancer or suffering in the hospital or having a worse time than you. So if your biggest thing is you got fired, you know, time heals all. If your biggest thing is that, you know, someone passed, you know, eventually we all have to pass. Or if you lost money on something, you know, it's not the end of the world. And when it is the end of the world, I'm sure that you probably won't care about any of this. It says, is his intelligence minister warned on Tuesday? So this is their intelligence minister. Warned Tuesday that power to the Gaza Strip would be cut off, soon be cut off, as the country's military. Hey, Dex, can we check? Because now the time frame over there, it should be later on in here. Can we see if there's an update, if they have actually cut power yet? Because, say, with the Al Jazeera building, it's like they gave them an hour warning. If this was out a couple hours ago or a few hours ago, then it might already be cut off.
Yeah, just looking, and I don't see that they've actually cut it yet. So they may not have done it.
Speaking of things getting cut, I would love to know. In fact, I'll do a poll. Have you noticed local businesses having issues with their credit card processing? Now, if I went to one or two places, that would be one thing. Maybe it's a regional thing. But here near Seattle, there's a lot of places, even, restaurants and things like this, saying cash only, which is like totally the opposite of what people have been doing because of CV. And they're saying it's because their credit card machines haven't been working. And I of course, I look at that and I think of all the stuff that we've probably, you guys have probably looked into, the Friday when everything stops working or the ATMs don't work or this or that. That's the kind of thing I look out for, right? Why are all these credit card processing companies having problems? We went to a coffee stand. They could only do cash because their credit card machine wasn't working. Then we drove by, there was a McDonald's, said cash only, credits down. Safeway, the Safeway down the street, boom, out. It's like, and it wasn't, it's not a power outage or anything else. Down at the bottom of the hill, another place, another coffee stand says cash only. We're like, what the hell is going on here? So I don't know if there was some sort of regional, there's no website. In fact, I asked Dex before the show, can we try to find a website that monitors that kind of outage? So if you have a problem, let me know in the chat. Have you seen local businesses? I just wanted to know if this would be like a national thing. We know that there's been businesses like Target and others that have had, their systems go down nationwide, especially since solar winds. There's been a lot of weird stuff, including our entire East Coast pipeline go down. So I would highly, highly recommend watching out for any little thing like that, especially now.
Maybe some smart business people think they need to hoard up on the cash, and they just throw that out and build up some cash reserves.
Huh. By the way,
know something.
Susie P voted squid eggs on the mysterious animal. Ugh. Black Labs says, pray and prep, Foogle fam. Sado99, welcome to the Foogle fam, and thank you. If you do subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to say hello to Sado or Sado99. We've got all sorts of new people over on DLive. Divine1122, Vibron, Casey Lynn, Scooby-Doo right. Thank you guys all for being here. Carolina Roots again. Thank you. Earth Observer says Cosmic Hoax documentary coming out soon for free. Earth Observer, I would love to check it out. And Rose to the Moon, thank you for hosting. I appreciate that. Thank you for hosting your viewers. All right. And then Ilea commented and says, I am not Stephen McMahon. Yeah, well, I don't know, Ilea. That was a pretty corny joke by Stephen. So, I don't know. You might have multiple accounts. Hey, you're helping me. I'm just playing. Daniel Lazaris, thank you. Rose-colored glasses says, we love you, Marf and Dex. Oh, well, thank you. I'm sure Dex thanks you as well. Brett Butler says, just thinking, in farming, we use degrees in everything. 45, 46 degrees in half a mile is way further apart than you think. Images, miles, and miles. Huh. Brett, interesting statement there. And then we have riots break out in Jerusalem's holy sites. Is troops fire tear gas at the Palestinians? So, of course, this is something that is actually going on all sorts of places here as well. We're covering that on our web-only content. Dex, do you want to talk about the riots real quick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like this is a very holy location for a lot of people, for all the three major religions there, Christianity, Judaism, and the other one I can't say. But when, you try to bring these people together at the same time, at the same locations, when there's this conflict going across that is very much divided by culture, you're going to see this happen, right? And actually, I think what you're seeing is that this is stemming from some of the trouble they were having when they were trying to come together at different locations during different holidays that were important to either side, right? And sharing these lands and sharing these holy sites, that the way they've been treated is then turned into the disenfranchisement that causes the conflict, right? And so it just continues to fester, and then the cycle continues and it continues, and it's got to stop at some point, because I mean, at the end of the day, these are humans. These are not like elite. Well, maybe there are some elites around that are sort of pulling the puppet strings on this stuff, but the people that are being affected the most are, human civilians that, live in a country, and that's their country, and there's nothing wrong with those people no matter where they come from, right? So we don't, like, this kind of stuff doesn't really do good for civilians. It may be fine for the industrial complexes that want to have this kind of conflict, but the side effects are pretty horrible.
Well, and then we're only going to see more until it stops. So we're going to report it the best we can up until there's a solution or something changes. You can also find all of the Middle E news all over on marfooglenews.com. You guys can actually go in depth. How things are set up nowadays is that they are basically almost anything that has a controversy or a debate of two sides, networks won't even let you talk about it unless you have a three-letter agency backing you. CNN, Fox, CIA, NSA, that kind of thing. If you have not already, though, by the way, to help the show, if you would like, we put a lot of effort and a lot of time into each show, especially with the website and with all of the stuff that goes online. Please make sure to go check this out. This is a win-win for everybody. If you have not gotten yourself a virtual private network, it protects you against cyber threats. It hides your IP, which is basically your address. That IP can lead people to your real, your real address. Of course, Nord is one of the highest rated. Of course, usually it's your Casey Neistats and people like that are representing Nord, not your little Marfoogles. So, again, really awesome that we have them, and a huge discount when you go over and use the code Marfoogle, and you help the channel out. They give us a financial bonus for bringing you to them. So it's very awesome when you guys use our affiliates. It helps us. It helps you. It's a win-win. I think that this is going to help protect people cyberly right now, and especially right now with everything going on with SolarWinds and all of the 500 companies, the 5 military branches, the Pentagon got hacked. It's definitely a good time to keep yourself a little bit more private online. That's marfooglenews.com/VPN. Make sure to use that code Marfoogle. Let's see here. And then on the website, okay, let's talk about this. So you want me to tease up the web only while you bring up the that video we're going to show? Yeah.
Okay, so on the web only side, so guys, every day we put together more content. It's on the web. Stuff we can't necessarily show in the show, or we don't have time to cover all of it. Some great things. Obviously, the stuff going on in the other states, those counting, if you want to call it that, that is going to continuously be updated there. So take a look. There's even some interesting words from our commander in chief and what he said, and actually he used the same line that Reagan used, and the reactions and how he treated the cadets of I believe it was the Coast Guard, was pretty interesting to see. So go check that out. The web only content.
Okay, and then so we're gonna go over. So this is it might be a little bit small for you, but I believe that I need myself somewhere. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it this way. So let me see if I can add myself real quick so we can. Yeah, let me see if I can add this real quick. Okay, so let me. It's all backwards here. Maybe I'll put myself down here. Okay, so this is a comparison here. This is a Russian military ad versus our military ads. It says a lot. I mean, like a lot. So let's hit play here and let's actually turn on the sound.
Что ты знаешь о себе? На что ты способен? Вопросы могут остаться без ответов, но разве ты познать себя, познать границы своих возможностей? К черту границы, а без боя нет победы. Но на самом деле, главный враг — это задача выследить врага, догнать его, превзойти, стать лучше, чем он.
It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms.
Okay, just to break down real quick. So their military recruitment video, shaving head. I mean, this is like what the U.S. had 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 months ago. Okay, it had, and what's even creepier is the kind of predictive programming coming from this, right? Where it shows him waking up. It shows them being badasses. You know what's even creepier? It looks like they're in a bunker. This is Dex. Did you notice that? It doesn't look like they're in a barracks. It looks like they're in a bunker with
concrete all around.
Concrete with fluorescent lighting. Okay.
Знаешь о себе. На что ты способен? Вопросы могут остаться без ответов, но разве ты познать себя, познать границы своих возможностей?
Push-ups, hardcore.
А без боя нет победы.
Jumping out of planes but look at the scene. Okay, that's straight up a scene from Red Dawn, the original and the remake, where you see that coming in. That's invasion tactics, right?
I'm just envisioning like Dolph Lundgren, like a 1,000 of them, just hardcore.
Okay, that's actually kind of stereotypical. Not all Russians have that haircut. They are all Dolph Lundgrens and badasses, though. At least I think so, with my years of experience.
It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms.
I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
To marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class. And after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
Твоей новой жизни. Что ты знаешь о себе? На что ты способен?
On a serious note, think about how other countries, which by the way, they 100% know that other countries looking in on us, there was a fear aspect out of it years ago, and some countries didn't even think about it because of the fear aspect of our army. And part of the psychology of these ads were partly to show those other countries like this. They would show off technology in these ads to kind of saber rattle, right? Russia still is. Ours, though, with not only this, other recruitments for CIA and NSA, if you've seen any of the ones that have been going around right now, it's pretty incredible. I mean, like, it's gone like, it's like millennials are in charge of everything right now. I don't understand it, but, and there's nothing against that actual thing. It's like you're doing cartoon recruitment ads, regardless of the content. It's like, who are you even recruiting? Are you, I don't know. But to pander to these different things right now, it kind of proves to the point of this space commander and what he was saying and the stuff that's going on right now. It's pretty insane. So again, everybody is triggered about everything right now. So I guess they've kind of got to be very softer with a lot of this stuff because people are just so offended, so offended. I mean, if people are offended right now, it's like that proves my point. You should not be offended by anything, unless it's something that says, "Hey, you're bald, you're fat, you're something." Be offended by that. But hey, I believe this. I'm offended. You believe? Oh my gosh, you believe something? I believe something else. Let's have a fisticuffs. Let's step outside and have a debate. Oh wait, debates don't exist. I will just walk away and never talk to you again. Go to the website to see all of the content from tonight. Again, lots and lots of really good stuff over there.
Yeah, if you like this comparison video, there's yet another comparison video. You've got the Reagan versus the current administration. Line for line, almost. It's pretty interesting.
Yes.
Guys, go check it out.
Lots of really good stuff there. Lots of great stuff coming as well to online in general. We're building a community. So, gonna need lots of help. Stay tuned. Today's news only. Every other day we do calls. It also allows me to have Dex in here because everybody likes hearing Dex's opinion too. And, Dex is somebody I love you, Dex, and thank you so much for all your help today.
Great show, brother. Much love.
Marfool's Gold, Brett Hines, Angela T, Venus L, Vape King, Oscar Berry, Daniel EA, Kim Burley. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Dex, can you read us the... Well, I know we've got Top Feud, Gone Girl 777 over on YouTube. And let's see here. Who is the top 3 over on DLive? And then
okay, the top 5, if you want it, is Divine 1122 is number 5. Number 4 is AR, and then 15_Joe. Number 3, Kelly 2334. Number 2, Casey Lynn 23, and in the number 1 position would be Susie P. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Usually the top leaders usually get a corny song in the shoutro. What the shoutro is, well, it's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to everybody that matters. You. It's like the credits where you are the names. And it's my corny on-the-cuff music that I just make on the spot. So I don't claim it to be good. I just claim it to be music. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out.
It will hide behind many lies. Revolution won't be televised. It will hide behind many lies. Revolution won't be televised.
Tell us more lies. Tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. Tell us more lies. Tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. Tell us more lies. Tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. Tell us more lies. Tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. I be rocking with the bread butter. I Leah, rose-colored glasses, all better butter. Down your loves every son of my man. Going down, everybody knows that we came. Serafina on and the surfer trick. Situation normal, everybody got clicked. Lit in the miles in the degrees, 45 feet, go on the seat now. Whip, gonna take it on another rip. Going down like a diamond on the car on next. Situation normal, then you lost our wrist. Bring it down.
Revolution won't be televised. It will hide behind many lies. Fisher do 47 in the selfie yard, so a butt trick, situation normal. D-do, Don Girl 777 in the picture, see everybody getting on a new normal. Hey, Brett Butler, on this hut, none of everybody on a huddler. And I got it hotter, I got it bring it back and down, and everybody got it squad away. Oh, now we gotta go fight. Two old people on the couch at high at night. Oh, now.
do it just like this. Tell us more lies, tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. Tell us more lies, tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. Tell us more lies, tell us that we're all fine. Revolution won't be televised. As Susie P, bring on a da-da-da-da. Susie P, Susie P, Susie P. 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 Red Bella and the Ilya. I bring it down now, back and now, Steela. I bring it down, down like a Igila. Oh, down now like that. Oh, Mr. Gila on the deal. Nah, with the hit on Godzilla. Bring it down now, oh yeah, I feel ya. Hey, fellow, I'm Mr. Johnny Captain, and I'll bring it down with the feature to the fall. Huh, no. Susie P, Susie P. Susie P, Susie P, Susie P.
Hey people, you can take off your mask now that we know that Fauci funded the Wuhan labs. Hey people, you can take off your mask now that we know that Fauci funded the Wuhan labs.
Everybody got the idea. I bring it down, no, nobody gonna care. I rose color glasses, bring it on the flashes. Oh, now everybody gonna grab the flashes. Was you gonna get drunk on a monk and then everybody really wanna go dunk? Hey, now everybody got to serve our drink. Situation normal? No, known it. No, it ain't, no, it is. Casey Lynn 33, truth is out there. Geo Huff and that Brennan on the Meteor. Like the Stormy 7572, like a good year. It's a tire, it rolls and it goes down. Now it's straw, jizzy 424, dunk-a-donk, gotta get its own phone. It's not funny, mighty donk and the mighty whore. A Geo Huff and the mighty whore. Ha! I go on a holiday, guess I bring it back now. Never miss ya, I go no jam 420, cookie. I bring it down now, I know, nookie. After ice hair, hunting in a pookie. Send you in the Texas, bring it on the Texas. Now we in the Nexus. I used to listen to 50 cents. Minus 48, you got 2 cents. Holiday kisser and the Geo Huff. Sitting here working out, getting buff. A geographically free, now you see. A Roman wolf Juicy. I broke his jaw, a Geo Huff a da, and never bring it back like Murphy's Law. Oh, the Avia, I know I got a maxi. A bad pad down, I get it gone, Naxi.